Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Tayo Gaura Premanandi.
Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranyana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranyana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Gurudev Jaya Gurudev Yethai Gora Haribo Nithai Gora Haribo Yethai Gora Haribo Nithai Gora Haribo Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivajikacharya Stotra Satyasi Srimati Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivajikacharya Stotra Satyasi Srimati Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavindi Ki Namacharya Brahmacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री द्वैत गदाधर शिवाचार्य गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मथुरा धाम की नवद्वीप धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जगन्नाथ स्वामी की गंगा माई की जमुना माई की तुलसी देवी की भक्ति देवी की हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की Samaveta Bhakta Vindaki, Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Devi Swami. Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Siddhartha Shri Gaura Karana Shakti Bhakti. Narayana Namaskritya Narunchaivam Naruttamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraya Nastya Prayeswa Badresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavata Uttama Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So this afternoon we continue with Nectar of Instruction called Upadeshamrita. We will do text 5 today. And in the book, it's a small book, Upadeshamrita, it starts on page 47. If you go to page 47, you will see the Sanskrit there. We will recite the Sanskrit together and also the word for word and the English translation. So page 47, Nectar of Instruction, text 5. Okay, please repeat. Krishneti Yasya Giri Tam Manasendriyetam Dikshasti Chet Pranatibhish Cha Bhajantam Isham Shushrusayam Bhajanam Vigyam Ananyam Anya Nindati Shunya Kridam Ipsitam Sangha Labdhya. We continue. Krishna, the holy name of Lord Krishna. Iti, thus, Yasya, of whom, Giri, in the words or speech, Tam, him, Manasa, by the mind, Adriyeta, one must honor, Diksha, initiation, Asti, there is, Chet, if, Pranatibhi, by obeisances, Cha, also, Bhajantam, engaged in devotional service, Isham, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shushrusaya, by practical service, Bhajan Vigyam, one who is advanced in devotional service, Ananyam, without deviation, Anyaninda Adi, of blasphemy of others, etc. Sunya, completely devoid, Hridam, whose heart, Ipsita, desirable, Sangha, association, Labdhya, by gaining. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, Diksha, and is engaged in worshiping the deity, and one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. Okay, please repeat after me. One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, diksha, and is engaged in worshiping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. Purport, as if you've been coming in earlier, you would know that all the purports are fairly long, so we'll take them piece by piece. In order to intelligently apply the sixfold loving reciprocations mentioned in the previous verse, one must select proper persons with careful discrimination. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore advises that we should meet with the Vaishnavas in an appropriate way according to their status. In this verse, he tells how to deal with three types of devotees: the Kanishta Adhikari, the Madhyam Adhikari, and the Uttama Adhikari. So we will be talking about these three types of devotees by guidance and mercy from my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. Om Gnati Mirandasya Jnana Jnana Shalakaya Chakshu Ummilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Sha Shri Rupa Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhivya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shiva Shari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini Nirveshesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatayani Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gorachate Namaha Ananda Lila Maya Vigrahaya Himabhya Divecha Vishndaraya Tasmi Mahaprema Raspadaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Hare Krishna. So the translation is that one should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, diksha, and is engaged in worshiping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. So, one thing that's clear here is that all the three descriptions given here are of devotees who chant the holy name of the Lord, beginning from what we say, the person that's starting off. When a person comes to Krishna consciousness, it's because they believe in God. They have faith. That faith can be soft at first. It can be firmed up over time by more conviction and also by service. Now, when we come into the association of devotees, one of the things that you learn and learn very quickly is that the cornerstone, which is also the Yuga Dharma for this age, involves the chanting the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The first sentence, or the first, we will say, clause, if you want to go strictly into grammar, one should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of the Lord. So the word honor is already being used here. And when it comes to honor, we know in regular life that anybody that's honored is a special person. For anybody to want to honor anyone, that person they want to honor has to be seen as a special person. Therefore, all devotees, whether they just came into the devotional path or that they've been in there for a while, even decades, they are all ones that deserve honor from us. And it's interesting how the translation ends. It ends with the type of the devotee who is pure, and one of the things that a devotee who is pure does not do is criticize others. Now, how in the world is anybody going to honor a devotee and then criticize them at the same time? Don't they go against each other? It's obvious. If you honor someone, you shouldn't be criticizing them. If you criticize them, you really don't honor them. The two things can't go together unless we're just playing a game with that person. So one of the things that comes as a property of a pure devotee is they are completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. That does not mean that wrongdoings are not there or that they're not observed by the pure devotee. Yes, they see these things. But the one thing that is obvious and should be obvious to all of us is if we call ourselves conditioned souls, then we have a higher nature and we also have a lower nature. Both are there. And in the process of Krishna consciousness, Bhakti Yoga, it is a situation where gradual purification occurs within the person. So over time, some of the lower nature would go away. Different situations that Krishna and Guru set up for the person to begin to have some realizations. From those realizations, the negative or the lower nature begins to go away. But the lower nature is there in everybody that is a conditioned soul. So to spend time and talk about that is not saying anything new. And matter of fact, what's going to do is make the person uncomfortable. That's all that's going to happen. Uncomfortable. When a person talks about someone's nature that is lower, then that person is ready to offer suggestions to help that person with a lower nature grow. If that is not the plan, then that person who realizes the lower nature of the other person should not be criticizing them. To not criticize is a very, very, very important thing When we develop, we will in fact purify the heart and grow rather quickly. That's why it says here, whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. So even when we come fairly new into Krishna consciousness, we should honor each other. We are chanting the holy name of the Lord Krishna. We should mentally honor each other, meaning that we should, at the very least, respect each other, at the very least. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about the three types of devotees, and they are given the Sanskrit name Kanishta, Madhyam, and Uttama. Now the translation goes from the beginner, middle, and then the advanced. Kanishta, Madhyam, and Uttama Adhikari. And Srila Prabhupada says, the Kanishta, who we should mentally honor at the very least, is a neophyte who has received the Harinam initiation from a spiritual master and is trying to chant the holy name of our Lord. That's what it says. This is directly from the purport. One should respect such a person within his mind as a Kanishta Vaishnava. So anyone who is chanting the holy name of the Lord is a special person, and the honor should be given, at least in that person's, in everyone's mind, to that person. Now later on we'll talk about the differences in Kanishta, Madhyam, and then we'll talk about Uttama Adhikari also. So Kanishta Adhikari is a neophyte. Madhyam Adhikari has received spiritual initiation. Again, this is directly from the purport. They received the spiritual initiation from the spiritual master, has been engaged by him in serving the loving, doing loving service, transcendental loving service, following the instructions of a spiritual master. And the Madhyam Adhikari is considered between beginner and the advanced. And the Uttama Adhikari, the highest devotee, is very advanced in devotional service. The Uttama Adhikari is not interested in blaspheming others. Srila Prabhupada brought this matter up again. We spent some time talking about criticizing others. In this case, blaspheming and criticizing go together. They mean the same thing in this case. Uttama Adhikari, they're not interested in blaspheming others. Why? Because when they see every living entity, they see at the spiritual level, not just the body. The soul is in the heart of that living entity. The super soul is also in the heart of that living entity. The Uttama Adhikari, the highest devotee, is aware of that at all times. And that's why they're very careful in dealing with living entities, even in general, especially those who've turned their attention to devotional service, devotees, Vaishnavas. So Srila Prabhupada says that person's heart, the Uttama Adhikari's heart, is completely clean. And they have attained the realized state of unalloyed Krishna consciousness. Unalloyed Krishna consciousness. When we say unalloyed, it means pure. We use alloy here as something impurity. When metals are mixed up, we call it alloy. So the one in smaller quantity would be considered impurity. So unalloyed Krishna consciousness means there's no impurity. And according to Srila Rupa Goswami, to associate and serve such Maha Bhagavat, or the perfect Vaishnavas, they are most desirable. It's something that we should really do. There is so much to get from serving such a person. One example is 5-year-old Narada Muni. Narada Muni was with his mother, young boy. But at the time, faith had it such that there were advanced devotees who were in the area in the 4 months, which are rainy season months, Chatumasya. And Narada Muni's mother served them, served these things. And Narada Muni himself, little boy, also came around, associated with them. Obviously, as a 5 years old, they treated him very nicely. And he had learned from them. And he took the remnants of their prasad. These are all purifying things. So the association of the Mahabharata is very, very important. And he got the association of them. And so he learned Krishna consciousness, and he grew Krishna consciousness, through their teachings, what was explained. And of course, these Mahabharats, when they talk, they like to talk Krishna Katha, topics about Krishna, quotations from the Shastra, making points. Sometimes they would debate, but it's all done in a very friendly way to make things clear to each other. And so, being present, Narada Muni, with these wonderful saints for 4 months, he gained a whole lot from them. So even after they left, and his mother, as fate would have it, got bitten by a snake and she died, Narada Muni had learned enough from these Mahabhagavats that he did not point the finger at Krishna, why did you kill my mother so early? But he took it as a stroke of fate, and he went searching. He traveled a lot. He traveled in different places, again, trying to connect his soul with Krishna consciousness. He died also, and he got born, again, through Lord Brahma, to become the Narada Muni that has given us so much, so much. Narada Muni is, if you could call it a resume, it's very long. We can't even, go through the things that it's all spiritual, so much. And he is, in fact, the spiritual master of very, very elevated souls. Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva is one example, and so much direction that he gave. He would travel, we call it the spaceman. He could travel to different regions, spiritual, material, it didn't matter. He served Krishna. He was always praising the Lord by singing, singing in praise of the Lord and playing his veena. And he was a perfect example of one who is Mahabhavat, but he got that by associating. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 22, and chapter 22 is entitled The Process of Devotional Service. The whole chapter is devoted to devotional service. Text 54, quite popular text. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastre Hoy, Lava Mata Sadhu Sanghe, Sarva Siti Hoy. And what it means is, so Sarva Shastre Hoy, the revealed scriptures, all the revealed scriptures say that by even a moment's association with a pure devotee, one can attain all success. Now, we know the pure devotee who is also the head of this particular society, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. When we hear from Srila Prabhupada, when we read books written by Srila Prabhupada, or watch videos by Srila Prabhupada, subtly, at the subtle level, we are connecting with him. We are connecting with him. It's not like a regular school and you go and you have a teacher and the teacher just says it, whatever, and you write your notes and you go, no. Spiritually, it's deeper than that. There's a connection with him. So hearing Srila Prabhupada, reading from Srila Prabhupada, is in fact a way to associate with them. The verdict of all revealed scriptures is that even a moment's association with a pure devotee, lava here, lava matra, even a moment is lava when we bring it to quantitative, it's like an 11th of a second. You can't even imagine 11th of a second, but split second, we'll just call it split second. Even a split second association with a devotee, with a devotee who is a Mahabhagavat, there is so much success that can come. And I don't know about you, but there are quite a few times that I've come around some of our sannyasis, and in talking with them, we talk about a particular thing, I'll ask questions, I'll get some answers from them. But after the conversation or after the question and answer, for a short while now, I always felt different. Something inside me felt very, very satisfied. It's always there, always. Something inside me makes me feel very happy. Although what I want, what I've asked, I've gotten, but always felt that there's more that comes. And so they carry the energy of Guru, the Param Guru, for us, their Guru, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And therefore, the point we're making is, when we get an opportunity to be around a Mahabhagavat, we should take great advantage of it. They travel, and now these days, because of technology, sometimes you can even see them on Zoom. Take advantage of that situation and get as much as you can from them. Electronic way of meeting them is not the same as meeting in person, but still, there is some benefit to get from them. So even a moment's association, one can attain all success. So that's the potency of the pure devotee of the Lord. Now, Srila Prabhupada also explains, now we'll talk about Kanishta Adhikari. We'll start from low and then up. The Kanishta Adhikari, they're situated on the lowest platform of devotional service. So that says that devotional service is an incremental growth. And it goes for a while, and gradual increases there. Srila Prabhupada always says, gradually, when you come around, we add on and add on and add on. Then realizations will come. Krishna will sweeten the process. We just have to open our hearts for it. The only price is we have to be greedy. We have to be greedy to hear the holy name, to chant the holy name, and to hear about Krishna and what we need to do in order to serve him devotionally. So, Kanishta Adhikari, Srila Prabhupada is saying one should not remain at that point. The Kanishta Adhikari, one of the things is they are interested in worshiping the deity in the temple, and that's good. In the Bhagavatam, 11th Canto, chapter 2, text 47, it says, Acharyam eva haraye pujam ya shadaye hate natat bhakteshu chanyeshu sa bhakta prakrita smita. A person who is very faithfully engaged in the worship of the deity in the temple, but who does not know how to behave towards devotees or people in general, is called a Kanishta Adhikari. If you remember when we started, we said every devotee deserves what? Honor. And then we said, don't criticize devotees needlessly. And now, so from this, what we can gather is a person who needlessly criticizes devotees is actually considered a Kanishta. You're supposed to honor them, not criticize. Honor them. Because Vaishnavas are followers of Lord Vishnu, and they are special. They are helping for the masses of the people to be put in the right track to go back to Godhead. Their mission and the very life that they lead is extremely special and important for this planet. And so a person who is engaged in worshiping the deity in the temple, but who doesn't know how to behave toward devotees or people in general, is called a Kanishta Adhikari. Why Kanishta? Well, they don't know how to behave towards people in general. If you compare the Kanishta to the Uttama, the advanced devotee is well aware that the deity is not only Krishna, but the super soul is also in the heart of the person they're talking to. And the person they're talking to is not sitting in the altar. He's just around here. But the Lord is in that person, in the heart of that person. Therefore, the honor should be given at all times. And therefore, when the person does not know how to behave towards and doesn't give honor to devotees, respect them, then that's called a Kanishta Adhikari. And Srila Prabhupada says one should not stay at that level. One should raise himself to the position of Madhyam, the next higher level. We'll talk about what the Madhyam Adhikari does. One should raise himself up to that level. Therefore, one of the things that has to go, and I don't know, I'm sorry that I sound like a broken record or beating a dead horse, don't criticize. That would definitely ruin. You're talking about this Bada Marani ki, Shri Gornatai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. What happens is to criticize means to offend, and when you offend someone, your devotional creeper becomes weak. This is why we're stressing it so much. To chant is wonderful, but you will break the very thing that you're trying to do, develop as a devotee, by being offensive or criticism or criticizing the nature like that. So one should go to the mid-level at the very least. Bhagavatam describes it, 11th canto, chapter 2, text 46. Ishwaritat adineshu, balisheshu dvishvastu cha, prema mati kripo peksha yat karovati sa madhyama. And Srila Prabhupada translates the Madhyama Adhikari as a devotee who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the highest object of love, makes, and here we go, right? That seems like it's similar to the Kanishta. The Kanishta worships the devotee, the deity. The Madhyam also worships the deity, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, while the Kanishta doesn't really care how to relate to other devotees, the Madhyam makes friends with the Lord's devotees. See, this is where the distinction is now. Makes friends with the Lord's devotees. Is merciful to the ignorant and avoids those who are envious by nature. That is the quality of the medium or the Madhyam Adhikari. Worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They understand that Krishna is to Bhagavan Swayam. He is the highest. Nobody is at his level. Nobody is more or greater than the Lord. But their relationship begins to change from one person to another. Makes friends with the Lord's devotees, which means that they will be involved in associating with the Lord's devotees in friendship. Those who don't know about Krishna, the Madhyam Adhikari is merciful to that kind of person. How does the mercy come? The mercy comes by teaching what we have learned from the founder Acharya to them. Distributing books is a show of mercy. distributing prasadam is a show of mercy. And all of those can be done in a very simple and very, very congenial, friendly way. The person should feel that you care about them. They may not know about Krishna, but you show mercy towards them by bringing them. Those who are ready to hear about Krishna, tell them, give them books. Those who are not ready to hear about Krishna, you can give them Krishna's mercy in the form of prasadam. Now, those who speak against God, we avoid them. Why? Because if a person is speaking against God, they are committing offenses. And that offense, they're going to pay for it later on. Sooner or later, they're going to pay for it. And therefore, if we drag on a conversation trying to change a person's mind and the person is being more and more and more offensive, then you're not really helping them, because you're just making them, putting them in a situation where they pile more and more offenses. They have to pay for that later. And so in such situations, it's best to avoid them. The Madhyamadikari avoids that. So that is a level that Srila Prabhupada would at the very least like us to be. We should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the highest object of love. We should make friends. Now, it's the highest object of love. Why? Because the devotee's aim is to develop Krishna prema, love of Godhead. So we should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead from our hearts, serve devotionally, not expecting anything back, make friends with the Lord's devotees. So let's talk about some practical situations. So now, you are there with devotees. I'm there with devotees. We're all associating. Somebody has a problem with someone else, comes to you and starts talking negatively about someone else. We already said you shouldn't be criticizing. So what should you do when that situation happens? Well, we'll give some answers, including one by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. One of the things that one can do is that first, you don't want to disrespect the person speaking to you. Even if they start saying negative things, say, oh, okay, already in your mind you know it's negative. And you shouldn't be, it should make you uncomfortable if you really understand what Madhyamadikari is supposed to be about. Now, still, hold your horses, because you have to honor them, so hear them out, but your aim should be to turn the mind of the person that is speaking negatively into speaking positively. Now, we'll start with the example from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, the guru, spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada. One of his disciples came to him, similar situation, to criticize another of his disciples to him. And just like we said, that's what Maharaj did too. He listened. He listened to the whole thing, and then when he said, all right, so, question, does this devotee that you've said these things about have any good qualities? That was the first question. We've heard all the bad qualities you're talking about. What about the good qualities? Does he have any good qualities? And so the devotee that got asked that question was taken aback. Thought Maharaj was going to just start and go through some. No, he said, did he have any good qualities? And so he remembered one. And he told Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, says, yes, that devotee actually plays Mridanga very nicely. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, how come you didn't say that at first? How come you didn't say that at first? So what he did, what we learned from this is Guru Maharaj was expecting the disciple to come to say some things good about other disciples. If we didn't have anything good to say, then there was no point going to talk about those situations. Now, that does not mean that when sometimes we have a situation we're uncomfortable with, that we do nothing. We need to go to a person that the person we have an issue with respects. And Lord, what you want to talk about, you can talk about it, but in a nice way, express what you're uncomfortable with, and say that literally, I'm uncomfortable with so and so and so and so and so. Not the person is like this, like this. I'll say it again. I am uncomfortable with so and so and so happened. If you say I, then it means you're putting it on you. I'm the one that has an issue with it, right? We tend to say, but he's like that, he's like that. When you say I, then the issue still will be expressed though. But it's like, I'm the one that needs help to better understand what's going on. Go to the person that person, the one that you have issues with, respects, and put it to them. Or you can go to some of the managers, again, depending on the relationship that's there between that person and the managers. You can talk about that also. And speaking about that, there's one example. So there was Brahmachari. This is in the Lord Chaitanya's and Lord Nityananda's pastimes. Brahmachari that saw that Lord Nityananda was parading in Navadvip at the time, wearing so many jewels, really quite opulent on his body. And Lord Chaitanya is speaking about living simply, chanting the holy name of the Lord. And so in this devotee's mind, it didn't add up. Why is Lord Nityananda so merciful? But it looks like when it comes to opulence, he's showing so much. He didn't go to Lord Nityananda. He went to Lord Chaitanya and told Lord Chaitanya, again, the same way we've talked about earlier. He said that I am having difficulty understanding why Lord Nityananda is dresses up with so many jewels like that, because what we get from you is to live a simple life. In fact, there's a lot of stories about Sanatana Goswami, and you can go into details about a very, very, very nice blanket that you got. Lord Chaitanya didn't even like that. So this is examples of this. So Lord Chaitanya was definitely pushing for simplicity. And Lord Nityananda is dressing like this. So he said to Lord Chaitanya, I'm having trouble understanding this. Please explain to me. The Lord did explain. He used a couple of pastimes, and the end result is basically, and the Brahmachari understood, Lord Nityananda is in a class by himself. Don't compare yourself to him. Basically, that's the answer he got. Don't compare yourself to him. Lord Nityananda is going to do what he's going to do, because Lord Nityananda is not like us. But the point is, the way this person went to Lord Chaitanya and put the blame on him first, that he was the one that didn't understand. That's a very, very important technique to use. A little bit about Prakrita Sahajas also, people who are starting off. So Sri Prabhupada talks about that sometimes such people, they chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, which is always very wonderful, but they attach to material things. They attach to people of the opposite sex, they attach to money, they attach to intoxication. In other words, it's not that it's bad, but we come with bad habits that need to be purified. So if anybody here has that issue now, it does not mean that we're going to put them down and then they will never grow in Krishna consciousness. We already thought that we should, mentally honor everybody. How are we going to put any person like that down? It takes a while. We have come with baggage of lifetimes of doing all kinds of things in sense gratification, and we haven't left this material world, this jail. It hasn't helped us. So yes, the Hare Krishna mantra is purifying, but there's a gradual purification. So the person may be chanting the holy name of Allah, they're not yet properly purified. So those we should respect within one's mind. But their association should be avoided, because if they're going to start talking about intoxications and about gambling and a number of things, that's not going to help. You give your association, but you don't take the association. In other words, you control the conversations that you have with them. Every time they say something like that, you just turn it. I'll talk about my own situation that happened when I was in Port Royal, living in Gitanagri down. And for exercise, I used to play tennis. There was a bunch of guys in town who were quite good playing tennis. Most of them were professionals also. None of them was a devotee. And we would play in the evening. And when we get on the court to play, we're playing indoors. We warm up for about 10 to 15 minutes, just playing back and forth, and then we start counting the game. So every time it was my turn, we had a roster, so people knew when to show up. I would come 5 to 10 minutes late, and they never could figure out why. If I come before the time that they're supposed to start playing, or before that time, because so I can take your clothes off and change, and take your racket and so on, they begin to talk. And they begin to talk about drinking, and about deer hunting, and about all of those things that I didn't want to hear, right? And they would play for about 10 minutes, and then we start counting. And they were very good players, so what to do? So I would go, but I would show up late. So that I got labeled as the person that always shows up late. But I couldn't tell it because what you talk about, I don't want to hear. Okay? So I had to go anyway to get some exercise from them. They were very nice. I mean, some of them even came to my house and helped me when I was building things in the basement. They, most of them were handymen. They knew so many things. So more the goodness is there, but that's what it is. And then we play the game, and then we take a break. And we go back to talking about those kind of things again. So what did I do? I would just excuse myself, leave, go to my car. And actually, it was also the time that I had to chant my Gayatri. So it was just perfect. Go out and chant my Gayatri, and then come back in, and then we just continue. But they never could figure out why, that I would come in deliberately late. So by the time I come, they are on the court practicing. And when they're practicing, they don't talk then, all right? So then I just come in and there, so I'm a little bit late. So I accepted that label as a person who always comes in 5 to 10 minutes late. But see, this is what happens. I was avoiding that part of the association. Unfortunately, they weren't devotees that were very, very good players. When I was in Lachua, they were devotees that were very good players, so we just played together. But in Port Royal, there was a different situation. So, the process by which a devotee becomes attached to Krishna is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Anchalila, chapter 4, text 192, Srila Prabhupada quoted. Diksha kale bhakta kare atma samapana. Se kale Krishna tari tari atma sama. At the time of initiation, when the devotee fully surrenders to the service of the Lord, Krishna accepts him to be as good as he himself. Now, if this is over your head, don't worry about it. At the time of initiation, when the devotee fully surrenders to the service of the Lord, Krishna accepts him like he himself, to be as good as himself. Why? Well, the devotee fully surrenders to the service of the Lord, though. They are going to get help in what to do and what not to do from senior devotees, from Shiksha gurus, and also from the guru that initiated them, depending on the situation. Now, when the devotee fully surrenders to the Lord, Bhakti Yoga is actually quite interesting, for lack of a better word. Krishna gives liberation easily, relatively easily. But for Krishna to give of himself, that comes from the process that we're talking about, Bhakti Yoga. A devotee that has come fully or become fully surrendered to Krishna has literally purchased Krishna. This is how the Shastra puts it. Purchased Krishna, which means now some of the things that the devotee wants to do out of service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in love with him, Krishna has to make arrangements for that to happen. Case in point, Bhishma. Grandfather Bhishma, very devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a pure devotee of the Lord. Krishna said in the Kurukshetra battle he wasn't going to fight. Bhishma wanted him to fight. But that obviously goes against what it is that Krishna wanted to do. And so Krishna had to arrange in such a way that, and Bhishma also forced the issue a little bit. Actually, he fought with Arjuna and almost killed Arjuna. And Krishna has to step in and deal with that situation by almost attacking Bhishma. Bhishma wanted Krishna to show his ability as a Kshatriya. No one is better than him in anything, in everything. And Bhishma just simply wanted, if there's a great war is happening, why shouldn't Krishna show that ability that he has as a Kshatriya? Krishna said he wasn't going to fight. Bhishma said, we have to. I'd like Krishna to fight very much. And so Krishna made that arrangement for that. It turned out that he didn't really fully attack Bhishma because that day ended. Because basically what it is that when the sun sets, then the war is over. So the sun set at that time, and so Krishna didn't have to attack Bhishma, but he was going to because Bhishma wanted it. So Krishna then makes adjustments based on what the devotee who is fully surrendered to the service of the Lord does. Krishna makes adjustments to it. That's why bhakti is not so easy. Bhakti is not so easy. But when we are when we help each other, in this process, we will all grow from that level that Srila Prabhupada does not want us to be, which is the Kanishta level, to the Madhyam, and even by which, if we take the process even more seriously, we can come to the Uttama level. Now, there's one more thing, then I'll just open up for questions. That Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada says, Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master. We have to chant a minimum of what, 16 rounds of japa? This is a comment made by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. He says, unless one chants at least 64 rounds of japa, and that is the standard, 100,000 names or 1 lakh names of the Lord, he is considered fallen, patita, fallen. So according to his calculation, practically every one of us not chanting 64 rounds is fallen. But we're trying to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead with all seriousness and without duplicity. And because we're doing that, then the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Patitpavana, can deliver us. And the joke in ISKCON is that devotees are supposed to chant 64 rounds. Vaishnavas are supposed to chant 64 rounds. Many of us will leave our bodies not having chanted 64 rounds. How do we go back to Godhead? So somebody made a joke of it. Well, the Prabhupada opened the back door and let those of us who came down 64 rounds to come into the spiritual world through the back door. But actually, all it is the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So take advantage of it while that mercy is available. And chant, get yourself up to at least 16 rounds. In that way, so don't criticize the devotees. Mentally, at the very least, honor them. Madhyamadikari is the level you're supposed to get to. And Madhyamadikari will serve the Lord, will also make friends with the Lord's devotees, and they will be merciful towards those who don't know much, but still are open to hearing or at least accepting prasadam, and those who say things bad about God, they stay away from at that level, at that level. So that way, slowly we will grow, and whenever there is the opportunity to associate with a high-level devotee of the Lord, please take advantage of it, because it will, in fact, help you in more ways than you yourself can realize, because there's so much connection that is there, so much potency that the pure devotee of the Lord carries. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Are there any questions? Prabhu has a microphone, so if you want to ask a question, just raise your hand. That means everything is clear. Yes? Okay, who has a question?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Very insightful and a lot of back knowledge in this text as I was
Krishna's
reading
mercy,
through it.
Guru's mercy. Yeah. Go ahead.
Prabhuji, this is a question from a sense of inquisitiveness. When we see these discourses, I have seen, and this was a question I kind of alluded to last week as well with Mataji. So the discourse that goes, is it at the level where there are people of different categories? Like, let's say if we are categorized, in a way, I'm using the word loosely using it because we are used to categorizations like Nishta, Madhyama, and Uttama. But when when the discourses are happening, is it in a way that is given that it's not just for these, but also somebody who's trying to know Krishna? Because some of the discourse materials, when I hear, again, since I'm from India, the knowledge of Krishna has been in our household. So it's not like, I don't know Krishna like that. But when I see these discourses, my question is that for all, or is it for somebody who's trying to know Krishna for the first time? Like, how does that categorize? Like, how does the discourses, generally when these, senior devotees give?
Very good question. It depends on the person who is speaking. Speakers usually are told to know a little bit about the audience, or at the very least, when there are people who we know obviously are not initiated, and so when they're there, we have to speak at a level that's basic, that most people can understand. And then we also bring in some things that, even though spoken simply, the deeper meanings are there for those who have been around and can relate to that. So that's also there. Now, that's on the part of the speaker. The other part is what you're doing. If you don't understand, ask a question. Don't feel, because this is, now how many churches you go that the preacher is preaching and when it finishes he says, are there any questions? No. You go to these religions, you don't do those, no. You don't get an opportunity to ask questions. So yeah, those who want to know more about Supreme Personality of Godhead, or who are new, can definitely ask questions or even express to the person that was speaking at the end of this, that I want to know this, I'm fairly new to this, can you explain? And they take time and they tell them even more basic things that they'd like to know that would help them. So that opportunity is there during the lecture or even after the lecture, the discourse. Yeah. Very good point you brought up. Very important. Hare Krishna. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you for allowing me to serve you. Shri Prabhupada ki, Vaishnav Thakur ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari 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 Bo, Jai. Hare Krishna.
Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada.
Allow me to hold it so we can make it.
Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakhate Sadma. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakhate Sadma. Banda moe savadana mate. Banda moe savadana mate. Yahara prasade bhai he bhava toriya. Krishna prapti hoy jaha hai te. Krishna prapti hoy jaha hai te. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chetete Koriya Kya. Harana kore o mane asha. Harana kore o mane asha. Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati. Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati. Jai Prasad Pure Sarva Asha. Prasad Pure Sarva Asha. Jai Prasad Pure Sarva Asha. चक्षुदा दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से ओ चक्षुदा दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से हो दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित हो दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित ओ प्रेम भक्ति चाह होते अविद्य विनाश जाते ओ प्रेम भक्ति या होते अविद्य विनाश जाते ओ वेद गाय हर चरित ओ वेद गाय हर चरित ओ श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदम जनार बंधु ओ श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदम जनार बंधु ओ लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना ओ लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना ओ हा हा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया ओ हा हा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया ओ बेजा से गुशुक त्रिभुवना ओ बेजा गुशुक त्रिभुवना शीला प्रभुपाद पतित पावना ओ शीला प्रभुपाद पतित पावना ओ शीला गुरुदेव पतित पावना ओ शीला गुरुदेव पतित पावना जय प्रभुपादा प्रभुपादा जगत गुरु शीला प्रभुपादा प्रभुपाद 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 जय शीला प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय शीला गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय शीला गुरुदेव ओ निताय गौर हरि बो हरि बो हरि बो निताय गौर हरि बो ओ निताय गौर हरि बो हरि बो हरि बो निताय गौर हरि बो Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram. Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare. Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gopremanandi.
Jayam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Prabhupada Stotra Satyasi Shri Maharaj's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Itilila Pravishna Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Prabhupada Stotra Satyasi Shri Maharaj's Divine Grace Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Ananti Koti Vaishnavindi Ki Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki ISKCON founder Acharya Shri Prabhupada Ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद सिद्वैत गदाधर शिवाचार्य गौर भक्तवृंद की शिष्य राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मथुरा धाम की नवद्वीप धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जगन्नाथ स्वामी की गंगा माई की जमुना माई की तुलसी देवी की भक्ति देवी की हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की सामवेद भक्तवृंद की निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Glories to Prabhupada.
श्री श्री नरसिंहदेव भगवान की, श्री श्री नरसिंहदेव भगवान की, श्री श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की. नमस्ते नरसिंहाय, नमस्ते नरसिंहाय, प्रहलाद दाहिने, प्रहलाद दाहिने, हिरण्यकशी पूर्वक्षः, हिरण्यकशी दुर्वक्षः शीलटंक न खालो शीलटंक न खालो इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंह इतो नरसिंह परतो नरसिंह यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंह यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंह बहि नरसिंह हृदय नरसिंह बहि नरसिंह हृदय नरसिंह बहि नरसिंह हृदय नरसिंह नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये तव कर कमल वरे नखाम अद्भुत श्रृंगार दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनु भृंगाम केशवद्रीता नरहरि रूप जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे सब कर वरे नखाम अद्भुत श्रृंगार दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनु भृंगाम केशवद्रीता नरहरि रूप जय जय नरसिंह देव जय नरसिंह देव तव कर कमल भरे नखाम अद्भुत श्रृंगार दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनु भृंगार केशवद्रीता नरहरि रूप जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे तव कर कमल भरे नखाम अद्भुत श्रृंगार दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनु भृंगार केशवद्रीता नरहरि रूप जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंह देव जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंह देव जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंह देव नरसिंह देव नरसिंह देव जय नरसिंह देव जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज, प्रहलाद महाराज, जय प्रहलाद महाराज। जय जय प्रभुपाद, 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद। श्री भक्तविदुनाथ सिंह देव भगवान की जय। जय श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि।
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you so much for joining us in today's special Sunday feast program. Is always special for today's program. So Ansuya Mataji is not well, so we are missing her energy and enthusiasm, but I will try to cover all the announcement quickly. So first announcement is, first of all, anyone first time here? Anyone who is here for the first time? Okay. So the 2nd February, that is Thursday, weekday. What is there? Shri Nityananda Rishi ki Jai. So it's going to be a weekday program at 6 p.m. Thursday, February 2nd. And the program will start at 6 p.m. with Abhishekam, Kirtan, and discourse on the pastimes of Lord Nityanand Prabhu, and of course, Prasadam. So all of you are most welcome, and anyway, all of us can serve the festival. Please let Anasuya Mataji know in whatever way you would like to serve the festival. Then we have February 25th. Haribo! That is Saturday, February 25th. It's starting at 10 a.m. It's going to be a 10-hour program for the welcome of Shri Shri Gaur Nitai in our ISKCON of Harrisburg temple. Haribo! There will be 8-hour Kirtan program. There will be Abhishekam, Yagna, lot of Kirtan, dancing, feasting, wonderful grand festival it's going to be. So all of you again are most welcome and are requested any way you can serve this wonderful festival on February 25th to welcome Shri Shri Gaur Nitai in ISKCON of Harrisburg. Please see Anasuya Mataji for that. We will definitely need a lot of services. Then we have, I don't know how many of you know, it's also related to the question that Karthik Prabhu asked in the class. Like whenever we are hearing a discourse or class or any topic, how does it relate to us? Different levels of devotees are there. So we have a Bhakti engagement training program in this temple. So Anasuya Mataji wanted me to announce about that. Anyone would like to know more about how they can use their skills, their knowledge, their whatever, special thing you can contribute in the service of Krishna, please let Anasuya Mataji know. There is a very formal training program also, so that whoever wants to advance more in Krishna consciousness, there is a wonderful opportunity for that. I just wanted to share that. And last one is anyone who has not received or not got the calendar for New Year, please let us know, and we will give you calendar for the New Year. So thank you so much, and please take the darshan of the deities, and Prasadam is served downstairs. We will have a quick Prasadam prayer. Who would like to sing the Prasadam prayer? Haribo. You are wanted.
Mahaprasade Govinde, Namo Brahmani Vaishnave, Salpa Punyavatam Rajan, Vishasnaiva Jayate, Sharira Vidyajal, Jarendriya Tahekal, Jive Phale Vishai Sagare, मध्ये जीवायति लोभमय सुधर्मति कठिन संसारे कृष्ण बड़ दयामय कोई बार जीवा जाए सब साधन दियो भाई সেই अन्नामृत पाओ राधा कृष्ण गुण गाओ प्रेमे राखो श्री चैतन्य निताय जय निवाय जय निताय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हे राधे जय जय श्री राधे श्याम जय जय श्री राधे
And we can quickly thank and show our gratitude to His Grace Prakshit Prabhu for wonderful, wonderful discourse on the Nectar of Instruction. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol!
Hare